Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reserve Seating. We are right smack in the middle of Scary Movie Month, and we are returning with an annual tradition, Tubi Halloween. And you might be wondering, where's Rob? It's not a big story. It's just he's stuck in traffic. He gave us our his blessing to go ahead. So Tubi Halloween is gonna be with me and with my main man, Leo Brady. How you doing, Leo?
Hello, Adam. I'm actually Rob DiCristino this week.
Oh, just this week?
Yeah, just this week. Go Phillies. I love Anna Kendrick. I'm
Taylor Swift album.
Taylor Swift's new album is Fire
Yeah, 4K.
at 4K, and I'm excited for Tubi Halloween.
So Tubi Halloween, we covered three movies, one selected by Rob, one selected by me, and one selected by Leo, that are all available on Tubi. I got a confession to make though before we get started.
Yes.
I watched these on Amazon Prime.
That pretty much sums up the way that streaming and the world is with movies that we watch because who knows where we're getting them from anymore.
Yeah, it's no knock on Tubi. It's just that I forgot my sign in and you can't pause or like resume watching without an account.
Yep.
So I knew that if I had to stop at a certain point, then like I would have to like fast forward to get back to the spot that I was at. I just didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, it sounds like an endorsement to have Tubi Halloween just for like the searching capabilities and then watch the movies elsewhere because then you might not have commercials or you'll be able to pause it and start from where you're pick up right where you left off.
But Tubi has probably the best horror selection of any streamer in October.
Seriously. And I honestly think like outside of like Criterion, Tubi is a cinephile's just dream for
Yeah.
movies that are obscure and like you said, tons of horror movies during Scary Movie Month. Yeah, I am all pro Tubi Halloween.
All right, so let's go in chronological order.
Okay.
We'll start with my pick. It was Twins of Evil from 1971, and this is a late Hammer Studios release. This was in their period where it was getting more trashy and less classy.
Yep.
So this one has more violence and blood and more nudity than the earlier Christopher Lee movies and Peter Cushing movies. Although this one does have Peter Cushing as a witch hunter, kind of similar to Vincent Price and Witchfinder General,
Yep.
just persecuting women that he dubs to be witches. And then there's a vampire who I know Rob thought looked like Jimmy Fallon, and once he said that, I couldn't unsee that.
Yeah, that is, yeah, that ruins it for me as well.
Yeah, and then there's these twins who there's one who's kind of virtuous and pure, and then there's another one who is like Randy and like wants to be a vampire and get in the mix with Jimmy Fallon. She wants to be on the Tonight Show, basically. I came to Twins of Evil because it was a recommendation from person that I did a podcast with several years ago, when we did a conversation about Vampire Circus, and I really liked that a lot. That might be my favorite Hammer movie because it's just super weird and sleazy.
Yeah.
And Twins of Evil was his recommendation, and I didn't like it as much as he did. I thought it was fine. It took a while to come together. Once it did come together, it got a lot more interesting. And by the end of it, I didn't necessarily want it to end, which is a compliment to the movie. But for a while, it was a little bit like, what is this movie?
Yes. Yeah, I'm totally on the same page with you. I think I liked it a little bit more than you did
Yeah.
because Hammer movies are definitely my jam.
Oh, good.
I like absolutely was so excited to put this one on when you it was your pick.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like I just like really dig like the general set design of these movies, the Count's castle that, clearly they're probably using old sets from other movies that they've made, and they've got like this collected cast of people that they've used in other movies as well. But it really sort of did have a little bit of a slow start getting it set up to, to what one twin is the good twin, what the other twin is the bad twin. And once it finally turned up into being like a vampire movie, I was totally loving it. And as you
Yeah.
said, I did not want it to end because it felt unpredictable. It felt almost funny in its sort of it's taking it serious, but as somebody who knows the satire of movies like Young Frankenstein and like
Hmm.
other movies, you kind of laugh a little bit ironically at Hammer films and the type of tropes that of things that they would do. But totally loved the ending of it. Totally loved just like where it goes, how it becomes this movie about like Puritan people versus people who might be exploring themselves sexually.
Yeah.
That stuff's always sort of Hammer gold. And I was just happy to see Peter Cushing in a Puritan pilgrim hat. He wears it well.
Yeah. No, he's always a welcome presence during October. I just watched the Tales from the Crypt anthology, the Amicus one. And he's got like a great segment in there where he plays kind of like this hermetic older man in the neighborhood who's friendly to the children, and all the rich people in the neighborhood are like, this guy's place is a dump. He's bringing down the property value, so they kind of like try to force him out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm totally with you on just kind of like the overall vibe of Hammer. Like, there's something so inviting when you start like the movie, and like the opening credits are so like, and the music, it's like so lush, and like it looks like you've been dropped right into like medieval times and things like that. And
Yeah.
there's something to be said about, I haven't seen the Collinson twins in anything else, but like there's something to be said for them. They got like a real good, like interesting screen presence. They sort of have like a Linda Blair type look
Yep.
to them. And for, it's good casting for like these two nieces of Peter Cushing's, who eventually he has to suspect of like dabbling in like the black arts and everything like that. Like these girls definitely have some kind of like haunted, spooky vibe to them. So like there's a lot of like iconography in the movie that I like. I just wish it kind of like got out of the gate a little bit faster. Maybe this is the type of movie I would enjoy more on a second viewing, like knowing that it's going to get traction, sooner rather than later.
I totally agree with that. I'm sensing a theme also of all three of the movies that we have, because all three of the movies that we sort of chose have these like little bit very slower starts that I'm like looking at the runtime and I'm like, oh man, we didn't even get to like the vampire stuff until like 45, 50 minutes into the movie. So
Yeah,
I definitely want to give a shout out, as you said, to Damian Thomas, who looks like Jimmy Fallon.
yeah.
He plays my favorite character of the movie, Count Karnstein. He is a very like sort of strange, sexually charged man who's throwing the wildest parties in the village.
Hmm.
And he just goes a little bit overboard clearly, and he got a little bit power hungry. So
Yeah,
hey, I who am I to judge him for throwing the coolest parties but also dabbling too much with vampires. So I think you get what you get with when it comes to Karnstein.
exactly. I mean, a lot of bad things befall our heroes, but we all learn a lesson in the end.
Yes.
And that's what that's the only thing that we ask for from Scary Movie Month movies is,
Yeah,
what lesson did we learn in the end? Like, I
absolutely.
just watched Three Extremes. There's a
Yeah,
lot of lessons to be learned there, like don't eat dumplings made out of people. All right, so our second movie, 1988's Night of the Demons, directed by Kevin Tenney, of Witchboard, the good Witchboard, probably, not the remake that I saw that was not good.
yeah.
And this was like my third time seeing Night of the Demons, but Leo, this was your pick. Do you want to set up Night of the Demons what it's all about.
Yeah, honestly, my choosing of this was kind of how my choosing goes when I'm on Tubi. It's like,
Hmm.
all right, I'm gonna scan the collection of horror movies that they have, and if something pops out, that's the one that I'm gonna go with. And Night of the Demons is pretty basic concept of 10 different teenagers gathering together at an abandoned funeral parlor on Halloween night.
Hmm.
And, they're all excited to drink and have fun and have sex and do all the cool things that teenagers in the 1980s wanted to do. And of course, when they get there, there is a little bit of an evil spirit waiting to possess some of them and keep them locked in the funeral parlor, which of course leads to a lot of people having their heads ripped off and their arms ripped off, and a lot of noses being bit, and a lot of craziness ensues. So, yeah, Night of the Demons is not a deep movie. There is nothing crazy complex about this film. But for me personally, like I told you, Adam, I love, I typically love a good movie, whether it's Night of the Demons or The Fun House or even Chopping Mall, movies where teenagers are going into places that they shouldn't be because they're just trying to have a fun time, for the night. And absolute insanity happens after the fact. So, those movies can tend to be really good when they're done in this nice compact way. Night of the Demons scratches that itch. This was my second time watching it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of it that just really is kind of silly. There's a lot of it that it probably doesn't hold up as well. And I almost even feel like this, again, to what I said about Twins of Evil, this movie, it takes like almost 50 minutes until they finally
Yeah.
get possessed, and it takes way too long, but it kind of is a blast. I could only imagine watching this in a theater with people. I'm sure it would be a lot more fun that way. But yeah, it's nothing special, like deep or special, but I enjoy it quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is, I think, was my third time seeing it, and I like it more with every subsequent viewing. The big detractor for me initially was just like these characters are by and large pretty unlikable, but it's almost kind of like this weird performance art now where it's just
Right.
like, it's just, I don't know, like they're such assholes. You just kind of like laugh at it at a certain point. I think that the thing that I love about the movie is even though it's very schlocky, like video store classic type of thing, low budget. It's got a lot of really good atmosphere,
Yeah.
and the house feels very haunted, like something really bad has happened there, and like nothing good will come out of this night for our leads. So I think that goes a long way. It definitely doesn't have, especially nowadays, how like all these kind of indie horror movies have like this digital sheen to them and
Right.
After Effects and things like that. Like this is so great, like the set dressing that they've done and the makeup effects, especially by Steve Johnson, are out of this world. Really good gore.
Yeah.
Um, and I like the lead. I think she's really good, kind of in like a Lisa Wilcox vein, where she's sort of like this innocent kind of girl who's sort of like caught up with, a bunch of bad seed type of teenagers, but she's the
Right.
good one. And it helps that she's dressed as like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and it kind of like makes you feel like this, trip down into hell with Dorothy and things like
Yeah.
that. So just from the look of it, it's like a really cool character costuming choice to go along with kind of everything that's going. This would make like a really good double feature with Demon Knight. I don't think it's like as good as Demon Knight because that's a movie that's like firing on all cylinders, but like
Right.
this one's like really fun and it's really kind of funny how light. It's got edge to it, but it's like really kind of lighthearted in a way. It's
Yeah.
like an easy watch for a movie that's kind of as gory as this. And I find that so amusing because this is one of the posters that terrified me the most when I would see the newspaper ad in the 80s when I was like in elementary school. I was just like, how does anybody like go into that theater and come out alive?
Yeah.
Like this is going straight into hell, like in Lucio Fulci's The Beyond or something like that. If you said one please for Night of the Demons. So it's just really funny, like when you're on the other side of it and you've seen the movie and it's just like, oh, this is fun. There's nothing like that's gonna stick with you in this like dark psychological way. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I want to continue watching Night of the. I've never seen Night of the Demons 2. Have you seen Night of the Demons 2?
No, I haven't, and I think there's like also a remake that was done of it as well, which I
Yeah,
haven't.
I haven't seen that either. I think Edward Furlong is in that, and I think Monica Keena also, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this one too that you brought up like a lot of great points. Like I love the entire like set of it. It's very gloomy and dark and
Hmm.
scary. The makeup reminds me of a movie that I think Patrick just screened and me and Patrick talked about on F this movie, which is Fright Night, because like
Yeah,
the face like
the
gnashing.
same artist.
Okay, that
Yeah,
totally makes sense. I mean, like it's really creepy. The only question that I had to ask you is
sure.
what happened to the lipstick exactly? Where did it go?
You mean practically, or like in the?
Yeah, from a
Or,
practical standpoint, if you put the lipstick in, where is it just staying there? Does it find its way out of your body somehow, or is it just
oh, so you mean not as like an effect, like
yeah.
because as
Yeah.
a prosthetic, I'm guessing they had like a fake boob, and like she was able to shove the lipstick into the fake boob.
Okay, that makes sense there.
If
But
it's in her body realistically, like the character, you mean?
yeah,
I think it maybe like dissolves like an M&M or something. I don't know.
perfect answer. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the answer that I need.
What did you think of the bookends of the movie with the old man?
I was laughing very hard at it this time, and I
Yeah.
still am like, I didn't remember it ending with razor blade apple pie being its choice of ending. But sure, it's the type of ending that makes you go say, sure, whatever.
Yeah. We need to find two more movies for the four pack of Killer Pie movies because we've got Thinner and we've got Night of the Demons,
Night of
where
the
somebody dies by pie at the end.
Man, yeah. Don't make sure that you have somebody check your pies this
Yeah,
holiday season. Yeah.
yeah. And that brings us to our last movie, 2019's Come to Daddy, starring Elijah Wood and Stephen McHattie. Um, and I don't know if I've ever heard of this movie or it like came out and I just knew of it at the time but forgot it. I saw that it's a 2019 movie, but it was basically doing like the festival circuit in 2019, and then
Right.
it came out like right during COVID and at the
Okay.
beginning of 2020, and then it went kind of quietly onto VOD.
Yep.
The setup of the movie is Elijah Wood is a musician and he gets a letter from his estranged father that he wants him to visit. So he goes to visit. The guy has a really nice home. It's like kind of real secluded, and it's not the interaction that he expects, even though the two of them are estranged. Stephen McHattie is just the nutcase right from the onset.
Yep.
And then something weird happens about 30 minutes into the movie, and then it just turns into a movie of, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it's like where you would have never guessed by the end that you were at the place that you got to based off of where it started. It's one of those types of movies.
Yep.
And this was Rob's pick.
Yep.
This was my first time seeing it.
Okay.
Had you seen it before?
Yes, this was my second time.
Okay.
Um, I think it definitely is a movie that works better, I think, on a first watch and not knowing anything going in.
Yeah.
And the less you know, the better. But seeing it a second time, I didn't love it as much as the first time that I saw it because there was
Okay.
things that I just knew were going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. This reminded me so much of there were 2 years when Patrick and I would go to the AMC theater in Rosemont, and they had like the Bruce Campbell horror film festival, and then they had Cinepocalypse. Do you remember
Yep.
Cinepocalypse?
Yep.
This reminds me so much of like a movie that would play like at Cinepocalypse. It's
Yeah.
just a real kind of like genre exercise. Elijah Wood is like kind of a stalwart of that type of movie now. That's sort of like his wheelhouse with like Cooties and movies like this.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest fan of grown-up Elijah Wood stuff. Like after Lord of the Rings, I kind of find him an uncomfortable screen presence for me. And I
Yeah.
think like he's doing that to a point, like on purpose. But
Yeah.
I just don't really like jive with his taste too much.
Right.
This movie's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was interesting in the beginning. Some of the stuff when it turns into I'll say like there's a first floor and then like or a second floor and then we go to a first floor at a certain part.
Yep.
When I get down to the first floor, I felt similarly to what I did with Heretic, where I was just like, oh, the stuff before was better than this. Like, this dungeon stuff is not really like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just find it, even though like the setting is meant to be confining, I find it like narratively kind of confining.
Yep.
And whenever that happens in a movie, I'm kind of always just waiting to like get out of there, sort of
Yep.
similar to the characters. I think the movie perks up a little bit because there's this actor, his name is Michael Smiley, and he
Yes.
plays one of the villains in the movie, and he's such a weird he's playing such a weird character, and the performance is really interesting because he sort of looks like Freak Show from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle mixed with Tiny Tim
Yeah.
and kind of Weird Al. And just this like delivery of some lines is like really funny and entertaining. I don't know. He kind of enlivened the movie for me when I had given up on it. So, the movie kind of like it was another case of Twins of Evil where unlike that one where like I didn't want it to end necessarily, this one I was totally fine with like it wrapping up, but I was kind of like riding a high towards the end. And I enjoyed the first act. It was just that middle section really kind of dragged the movie down for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I think like the entire like first two acts work pretty well together, but like once there's big reveals, I almost was like, now what? Um and when it finally gets to its ending, it feels like it didn't know how to end. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
kind of was just like, how are we going to put an end to this? How do we wrap this up?
Yeah,
And even though the way it wraps up is kind of interesting as well, it still felt like it was the type of script that needed like second and third viewings so that somebody
Mhm.
could help them polish it up to make it just this perfect three act structure. So
Yeah,
uh, overall, though, I mean, it like you said, it's a genre piece. It really works as what it's trying to do. I just don't know if it works as well with multiple viewings. I think like it's kind of one of those going cold, know very little about it, watch it, you'll be surprised and enjoy that. But then I think watching it a second or third time, you're gonna be like, okay, I've kind of seen this already. So
yeah. F, Mary, Kill, Leo for these three movies.
okay, I'm definitely going to marry Twins of Evil because
Mhm.
I'd like to stay with that movie for a while. I'm going to F uh, Night of the Demons because that movie has tons of sex appeal and it's the type of movie that you F. And I'm unfortunately going to kill Come to Daddy because that's the only movie that it feels like could use a little bit more work.
Yeah.
But it's still a pretty solid movie. It's a good addition to your scary movie month. That's for sure.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I would kill Come to Daddy, but like it's like an affectionate kill. It's not like I'm mad at it really. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like The Fetus, which I watched on VOD this month. It's where
Yeah.
you're like questioning how you got to this point in your life. And then I'll F Twins of Evil and I will marry Night of the Demons.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So this was fun, but since I got you here
Yes.
and you're a critic and you go see movies in theaters all the time,
Right.
have you seen any of the horror releases that are kind of playing in theaters right now? And like, what did you think of them? Like, have you seen Black Phone 2 or Good Boy or Shelby Oaks or Conjuring Last Rites or
I actually saw Conjuring Last Rites. That is one movie that kind of surprised me, and I think the bar was lowered because the Conjuring movie before that I hated
it was really bad.
really bad. So I
Yeah.
think this one, like, kind of they knew they had to pick it up and do better this time, and I
Mm.
I feel like they did. So I'd give that one a thumbs up. Haven't seen Good Boy, but and I do see Black Phone 2 tomorrow. So
Okay.
hopefully, when people watch this, I would have already seen it and have a review. I'm excited for that one because that had good reviews coming out of Fantastic Fest. So I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Did you see him?
No, have you seen him?
I didn't see him. No.
Yeah, and I heard nothing but bad things, so I kind
Yeah.
of felt like I dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any the only new stuff I saw was The Fetus and Spooktacular on VOD and neither of
Oh,
them really did anything for me.
yeah, I will. The one that I have seen that's recently out that I will actually recommend, and I think it's one of the better ones of recent history, which is VHS Halloween.
Oh,
I
okay.
I know every year they come out with one.
Yeah.
Anthology films often for me feel like automatic three-star movies because like you're gonna get some you like and some you don't like. This one kind of has an interesting thread throughout it with this like evil soda, this evil pop that they're trying to like do tests with,
Okay.
and people keep like testing it and they people keep dying from it, and then they're like, damn it, we need to fix the mixtures and all this stuff. There's some really good like violent moments, some great um special effects in some of the scenes, in some of the segments, and it feels like the first VHS in a while where all of them really feel like they tie well together. That is one. I think it's on Shutter right now that I would definitely recommend.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to sign up for Shudder again.
Yeah.
This is the month to do it. Before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you to you, Leo, because you have joined us for many reserve seating episodes. You were the guy for, same title Showdown and Tubi Halloween in the past few years. So uh, we loved having you on the show. Thank you for being on here one last time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. You guys have been great. I loved reserve seating, loved being on the show as many times as I can, and I hope to, contribute and see you guys in screenings coming up in the future. So.